Hey, Spectrum Orange Most Lights. It's me, Spackle here. Coming video. In this video, I am going to be doing 4 DnD monsters as dragons. So without further ado, let's roll intro, let's get into this video, and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. What on earth? How many bloody dragons are there in that stupid kingdom? There's so many different places on this planet. I'm thinking about going on a vacation to outer space. But if I do, the chances of encountering alien dragons get even freaking higher. Motherfuckers. Anyways, frick, I'm recording audio. Okay, hopefully that deleted that. Anyways, it's me, Karma, and I'm gonna be talking about some newer dragons I just had to deal with. First one, and trust me, all of them are pretty much a nuisance around here. First one known as the Displacing Drake Beast, or the Displacing Drake. And this Drake has the ability to just teleport short distances. They're also known as, well, for the record, they're not even technically a Drake, they're more of a Dravern than anything, but they're classified as a Drake due to their small size, but I personally classify them as a Dravern. Anyways, this thing, like I said, has the ability to teleport short distances. And sometimes they do have a non-draconic relative, the Displacer Beast, which is mostly a creature found in this region. And the region I'm talking about is some places, I can't quite remember the name of one place, but needless to say, that it is really well known for its, multitude of monsters. And also dragons, and, well, pretty much everything. That's pretty much where all these dragons come from. And their non-draconic and somewhat draconic relatives. This one doesn't have a breath weapon, but the poison it does excrete from its tip of its tails. Yeah, it has 2, just like its cousin. It is a very violent poison that can actually kill someone in a few minutes. These creatures don't really have that much intelligence. And from what I can tell, all of these people are either really smart, mediocre, decent, or completely dumb. They're not, for the record, some dragons are really intelligent, and some dragons aren't as intelligent. I've actually managed to tame one of each of these. The next one is actually a great arsenal, my vast range of dragons. And that one I was talking about that is a great asset to my large arsenal of dragons. It's known as the Mimigon, or the Mimicar Dragon for their creature name. This creature, like you can suggest, has the ability to shapeshift. But what you should also know about them is that they have the ability to shapeshift into any dragon race. These motherfuckers are actually quite common to known as mimics. Mostly copying inanimate objects, sometimes even managing to copy a warforged every now and again. Imagine how much a pain in the arse all that is to deal with. But anyways, this one in particular is mine. I call him Mimic, namely because for the namesake. But he is actually one of the few intelligent ones. He told me a little bit about his race. They mostly take the form of a purple-ish abomination-like drake, similar to the Boiling Isles of Abominacons. But a tad bit different. Their favorite shape is known as the crimson red-tailed. Well, crimson spike red-tailed. What is that race? The crimson red spike-tailed drake, or the crimson spike-tail for short. The reason being is because those drakes are actually common pretty much everywhere you go. But in my place, they are actually quite rare, and actually quite sought after because they are actually a really powerful race drake, like a powerhouse tier. But from the place I was in a few weeks ago, well, just earlier, they're actually quite an abundant race. They actually have a more powerful relationship to a true dragon race known as the Crimson Red Dragons. They all are very powerful. These Crimson Red Dragons are very prideful, but they are easily tricked. As for the true form of the Mimigon, are a little too unknown. But mine, in particular, is a very powerful one of its species. He tells him that he's an alpha of the race. One of the many of the race, that is. He has 3 mouths he's able to summon. One on his regular mouth, one at the end of his tail, and one on the end of his, on his stomach. And whenever he reveals his true form, there's always a small area of purple that shows up, which is actually his real skin. He's also able to summon eyes pretty much everywhere on the body, which does make him be a little freaky at times. Now, for the Mimigons, they do have the ability to shift into humans, but they prefer to be in their dragon form, or a mix of their true form and their dragon form. But the next one is one I call Glutton. This is my dragon, or his race is known as the Gluttious Tripod Audiog Disposal Drake, or the Gluttonous Audiog Drake for short. He in particular has a weird effect. He's your standard Audiog Drake, Gluttonous Audiog Drake, that is, or mostly referred to as Audiog Drakes, because they are more draconic in nature. They don't got a breath weapon, but they can. They're also really known to be sitting at the ends of sewer pipes, pretty much anywhere. Even in this nation, just eating all the garbage. But for him, for Glutton, he actually doesn't. He's actually a fairly lazy dragon, or drake, mainly because I deal with so much waste, taking care of 15 bloody different races of dragons or so. I need to go figure out how many creatures I have. Well, anyways, his weird effect is that one tentacle end is actually bigger than the other one, while it's also shorter and the other one's longer. Now, he has the ability to eat pretty much anything and everything, like of his other race species. But he actually doesn't have 4, lips? Mouth flaps? I don't really know how you put it. He only has 3, which is also another weird birth defect. Well, not really a defect, it's more of a characteristic of him. Now, the Audiog Drakes are interesting. They have 3 tails that, like you guys, can spawn from the backside. And another reason why they're classified as a Drake is because of their build, not a regular Audiog. They have their eye tentacle tail is actually the second longest. Well, it's actually usually the longest, whereas it's the shortest because it's actually just made of going around the body scanning for trash or something else to eat. They're also mostly known to eat the corpses of dead dragons. It's actually more of a common delicacy for them. Now, Glutton has an interesting property of being able to either permanently or temporarily copy the abilities of some of the other drakes or dragons he eats, depending on the quantity of the carcass. Full carcass of a decently sized one would permanently alter his DNA, whereas a small sample would only temporarily give him the effects. Let's move on to the final one today. The final one today is the biggest dragon I've ever motherfucking seen. This one is known by many nicknames. The Earthquake Causer, the Tyrant, the Natural Disaster, a living natural disaster. But this one is mostly known as the Tarrasque, or that's what its most distant relative, non-draconic relative that is known as. This is the Titanic Dragonet, or the Titanic Dragonet. Best way to put it is these things are massive. Your standard true dragon is dwarfed in comparison to them. Whereas a 100-foot wingspan with around a 150-foot long body for a standard true dragon, this thing has a full-on body length from snout to tail end of 300 feet. The wingspan is mostly there for helping it fly or gliding. Its wingspan is only around 250 feet. That's 125 feet for wings. With around I'm gonna say at least, I don't know how long between shoulders? That's hard to pronounce. But best way to put it, this thing is strong and fast. Namely being closer related to a wyvern on some accounts. It's a pretty fast flyer, clocking in around Mach 1, usually. Regeneration is decent. The lifespan, though, indefinite, even if they are not so bonded to a human or anything. But the one I have is, well, a rarity amongst his race. He has the ability to actually, speak intelligently. Like the Titanic Tarrascan Dragonets have little to no brain capacity, namely due to their large size. He also has a bunch of magical resistances, elemental resistances, status effect resistances. Pretty much, he's a living tank and a living natural disaster all rolled into one. As for his human form, it is a very, very well armored and scaly man, standing around 7 feet tall, with no wings but draconic scales all over the body. Now, that's all for today. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed today's video, and because I'm afraid that's all that I got for today. But until next time, subscribe to the Spark Astronomy or the Muscle Alliance. Goodbye, and peace out, everyone.